This is Artemis Launch Control. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson just called a scrub for the launch attempt today, the second launch attempt. Again, Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson calling a scrub for the day here at the Kennedy Space Center Launch Complex 39B. The team now going into the cutoff procedure after being unable to resolve a hydrogen leak.
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
This town needs an enema.
How'd you like that, Dan? I got it fixed.
Oh, that's much better quality. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, what did you have to do to fix that?
I had to find another copy. That was the double clutch at the beginning.
Mm. Oh. And I want to take this opportunity to check
Hey, Kiri, you want to be on the show tonight?
Mod check. No wonder I said check. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody that bought my music over the Friday night today. Hey, it's thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are not worthy, but thank you anyway. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have as much fun listening to it as I had creating it.
John, you're about an hour early, but yeah, good morning to you also.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, that does include AM too, doesn't it?
And PM. We got both types of music here, country and western.
Yes, and like the Flat Earth Society, we have viewers all around the globe.
That is just one of those posts that was just like, you do it, Joe. Okay.
Yeah. This isn't live, it's a recording. We all recorded this episode earlier and just playing it all that right now.
And we were psychic. We're all psychic, so we knew you were going to ask questions about us being live. So we already had it in the show when we recorded it like 12 hours ago.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's comments have been anticipated and typed out beforehand to display now.
But yeah, I want to say hi to Rob Brown. Rob is becoming one of our regulars. And yeah, it's
just what we need, another regular.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been real happy with the irregulars too.
Yeah. With all the irregulars, we could use a regular. And good evening, Joe Bachman. Oh, So, how is everybody's day going?
Mine was going great till I found out the water heater was leaking from the upper heating element. Now I got to take that apart.
And
Hey,
there's Steph.
Stephanie.
Sorry, I'm late. I lost track of time. I've been writing today. I've got over 1,200 words.
Then lose
today.
track of time, darling.
Yeah,
We don't mind
Yeah,
it.
really.
I did. I lost track of time. So.
Oh, and you missed the intro.
Well, I saw a new intro Thursday.
No, there's a new intro.
Oh shoot! And I missed it. Okay.
Hi, well, Joe. It's not going to be a permanent intro.
It's only for tonight.
It was topical.
Can you show the first part of the intro and not the?
Yeah. It's just a 39-second clip.
This is Artemis Launch Control. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson just called a scrub for the launch attempt today, the second launch attempt. Again, Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson calling a scrub for the day here at the Kennedy Space Center Launch Complex 39B. The team now going into the cutoff procedure after being unable to resolve a hydrogen leak.
Yeah, that's about right. You know, this whole thing is so familiar to me. It's not even funny. I mean, my very first shuttle mission, STS-35, they kept leaking from the quick disconnect. Every time they go to tank, that quick disconnect would start leaking. We took the better part of a year to finally get launched. And in the end, it turned out just to be the temperature differential from tanking the cryogenic fuel. I think I said that the other night. I apologize, but yeah, I think
you did mention it. But of course, just so everybody at home knows, this rocket is pretty much using used parts from space shuttles. So it's going to have a lot of the same problems that the space shuttle had.
And Stephanie, also in the meeting, in the press conference, they were talking about it. It's a differential in the cryogenics between the quick disconnect tube and the rocket, and it's the seal. And of course, then they were talking about they tried to back pressure it and it got worse. I'm going,
well, I understand what they were trying to do there.
Yeah.
They were trying to force the seal into. They were assuming that the seal had not seated properly.
Yeah.
And they were trying to force the seal into place. And it's, to me, based on my experience, it sounds like what happened was that there was a flaw in the seal, and that was what was causing the problem, and that overpressurizing it to force the seal to seat may have actually exacerbated the flaw, torn something or something.
Hey, I used to fix paintball guns. It's always the damn seals. It's just.
Well,
Joe, I don't know.
I think, judging from the specific missions that they chose and whatnot, the specific shuttles, I think this, and since this was going to be a one shot, I think this was an attempt to memorialize is not the right word. Remember the legacy.
It had historical,
yes,
implications because
paying tribute to those who came before.
Like
right.
Artemis is Apollo's sister in Greek mythology, so that's how it got the name Artemis. And then, of course, they're using old space shuttle parts, and of course, it kind of, if you have really bad eyesight, it sort of looks like Apollo.
Sort of. It's kind of like if you took the top part of the Saturn V stack and put it on the nose of the parallel stack for shuttle without the shuttle.
Yeah.
And only you took the shuttle engines and stuck them on the bottom.
It's a cut and paste rocket.
Kind of.
And the original plan was to save money in building a new rocket
By using legacy parts, and I can
by
see
using
that.
and it took them $83 billion to build a
Yeah, I
rocket.
would say saving money is no longer the objective. It might be saving face now.
The advantage to using legacy parts is you've already got the infrastructure in place to repair it and stack it and prepare, everything you have to do to get the rocket up.
And all of the required testing has already been done for the individual parts.
Just
Yeah.
system
They've been
integration.
certified.
That's all they
Yeah.
should have had to worry about was system integration.
Well, you can't close NASA's doors. I'm sorry, you can't.
No.
Because there are things that a government program, explorational program, can do that most commercial programs can't. I mean, yet. Well, no, there are certain things. Once SpaceX is actually different in that Musk is willing to spend money, whatever it takes to do this. Most corporate endeavors, we'll put it like that, are not. And if you've got a corporate endeavor, it's very rare that they're going to spend a whole lot of money to send a mission out when they don't even know if they're going to get a return on investment.
Mm-hmm. Most
You know.
corporate stuff is make a profit first. Doesn't matter if it succeeds or not.
Exactly. So if you're trying to do that, you're not going to be doing exploration. If you look historically, all of the explorational missions have been government funded. And then the corporations come in after and basically exploit is not a good word, but they basically
feast on the carcass.
they basically exploit the discoveries of the government with the government's blessing. And that is how NASA has always operated. And I don't think it may change form. It may no longer stay NASA. It may become something else. I mean, the Russian space program and the Japanese space program have already been through restructures and renaming. Something like that may happen. But I don't think that you can automatically wave your hand and say, we're not ever going to do any more governmental space exploration. I think that is you're going to limit yourself to low Earth orbit from now on if you do that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Donna.
Unless you
Hey, Donna.
occasionally come up with somebody who's willing to step up and has the money to step up, like Elon Musk.
Yep, that's one thing that governments do have an advantage over private corporations. There are a huge amount of extra resources that companies don't have and cannot obtain.
Right.
But governments do find a way.
So, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with everything NASA's doing. But on the other hand, I do understand why they're doing it. I do understand a lot of that does come from DC.
Yeah, that's the problem with NASA.
That's the big problem. That's the big problem right there.
Is everybody in Congress thinks they're rocket scientists.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell the rocket scientists how to be rocket scientists. And the rocket scientists are just like, just shut the hell up and give us the money. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll fix
exactly.
it.
and give us a steady flow instead of, oh my gosh, I never know what we're going to have for a budget each year.
Hmm.
You know, that's a huge detriment.
You know, we need to get a president in office that one of his campaign promises is, I'm going to give NASA a steady budget for the next 8 years.
He can't. I know, I agree. I hear what you're saying, but he cannot.
Yeah, Congress decides the budget.
Okay,
The president
Joe,
can
what are you
only
playing
approve it.
with?
I'm playing with the new HallowCon toy. It's an outhouse.
That's what I thought it was, with a bat and pumpkin lanterns on it.
Yeah, let me get the microphone around here.
And that's a wrap.
Oh my gosh.
Here's your trick. How's that for a treat?
I think you just got the #2 bestseller.
Literally.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of #2 involved in that one.
Hey, Zach, how's it in Florida? And are you actually going to hang around for tomorrow night to actually see a launch occur?
Hey, if you're still in Florida, I've got some friends that are having a party over at Panama City.
That's nearly a day's drive, though.
Well,
Get hot, yes.
Did you get rained on yet today, Zach? Because they were talking about maybe thunderstorms messing up the launch instead of NASA messing up the launch.
every time I have gone to Florida, you could set your watch by the afternoon rainstorm.
Hmm.
Something like 3:12 or something like that. It would just pour down for about half an hour, and then the rest of the day was fine.
Yep.
Oh, okay. He says he's here. He's there till Tuesday. Might stay around for another couple of weeks. Wait, it's a wait to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is actually a launch tomorrow. That
What are they
Yes.
launching?
more
Oh.
Starlink satellites. Oh,
Well, I do believe I'm going to have to.
there's one
replace-
for you, Stephanie.
Well, they still call them splashdown parties at the end of missions. So far as I know, they did when I was there. So
Even for shuttle.
uh-huh. We would usually have some sort of a splashdown party at the end of the mission. So
That is one of the things that kind of ticked me off about the Artemis system is they went from the shuttle, which was what, 50% reusable, basically. The only thing they
Mhm.
couldn't get back was the fuel tank,
pretty much.
to throwing more trash into space in the ocean. You think Congress
Well-
would have set a standard? We need you to make a 100% reusable rocket.
If I think that the plan is once they get the final form, the Artemis 2, I think that is going to be basically all reusable except for the external tank. Because those there's nothing to say those solid rocket boosters can't be reused
Right.
just like they were on shuttle.
Yeah.
So
Except they're heavier. They'd have to put a bigger- they'd have to put a
Artemis-
bigger parachute.
Yeah, Artemis 2 is what they're going to call Block 1B. And I was listening to somebody describe it. The shuttle or the main engines will actually throttle down twice.
okay.
The first throttle down is to 84% for max Q. Then it's going to get on, it gets through max Q, throttles back up to 109%
Okay.
for like 30 seconds, and then it throttles back down to 84 until booster separation, then back up to 109%.
Okay.
Supposedly to give a higher escape velocity. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because you got there's no throttling the SRBs, so they're just burning. So yeah, I can see that, and then let the SRBs max out, save your liquid engines and liquid fuel until they jettison, and then crank it up to max. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Which I thought was pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it saves fuel, lets you burn your engines a little longer
Mm-hmm.
for, I guess, more payload.
Well, not necessarily more payload, but the shuttle was not able to go to reach complete escape velocity. It could reach orbital velocity, but not escape the gravity well. This thing has to escape the gravity well to get to the moon.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And Rob says, you guys know way too much about rocket science.
You think?
Yeah. And
So that's how I made my living until I retired.
yeah,
Really. And
Stephanie actually
we
is
hang
a
out with
rocket
all
designer.
kinds of people like that. So yeah.
Yes.
There's a reason why people nicknamed me the Rocket Mama.
Just a little bit. You know.
And I run an armchair rocket science. I'm the couch rocket science.
And I used to shoot rockets at minefields.
Duck.
Well, I guess a cluster bomb would do a great job on a minefield, wouldn't it?
Not really. It's just more mines. But the Miklik uses a rocket to pull the line charge out across the minefield.
Oh.
It's a really weird rocket too. The exhaust
Okay.
ports
Yeah.
are in the nose.
Okay. Because
So
if
it's
it's
a solid
pulling a
rocket
line,
motor, but the exhaust is up in the nose shooting backwards.
and you're dragging a line,
And you're dragging a line.
that's why.
Yes.
So you don't burn your line.
Exactly. Considering that your line is basically a steel cable inside of a fire hose filled with 1,800 pounds of C4 plastic explosive, yeah, you don't want to set that on fire right away.
No, you want to wait till the last minute.
15 seconds.
Gets it out away from your launcher, and then you can start blowing things up.
There's only a 60-meter standoff between the launcher and the back end of the line charge.
That doesn't seem like quite enough.
Nope. That's why you launch a sucker from an armored vehicle.
Yeah. Yes, water rockets, pressurized water rockets are especially fun to play with in the summertime in the South
Yes.
Oh yeah.
because you're going to get wet, but it feels so good.
I haven't even seen a water rocket in 30 years.
I haven't either.
Now I
Next
gotta
time
do
I
it.
have
I
to
would
go
pump
to
that
a
thing up as hard as I could, though. My dad was like, "You're gonna bust that thing one of these days." Never did.
All right.
next time I go to a department store, I'll look around in the toy department and see if anybody's still selling them.
Hobby Lobby has some.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the new ones, you actually make them with water bottles. So you take they've got them where it's a kit, but you have to have a 2-liter Coke bottle or something like that.
Okay.
And
Hey,
then
That
you
takes
have
all the
forget-
aerodynamics out of it.
Forget pressurized water. Let me have Diet Coke and Mentos, and you put that in one of those kits.
Really,
I
instead
got
of
a
pointing
chemical
it,
rocket, then.
Instead of pointing it up to make a fountain, you point it down to make a booster.
Exactly.
Of course, that's not quite as clean as pressurized water, but
No, that's true. You kind of want to be able to stand back for that one.
Hey, there's an experiment for you. When we get to the moon, have somebody try one of those water rockets.
I was thinking about the Mentos and Coke.
well, that would probably work better than trying to pressurize a water rocket with no atmosphere to pump up. You'd you'd have to use bottled air.
Yep. But
Well, guys,
man,
the answer to the question is yes, they still make them.
Jura water rocket. Or Jaru water rocket.
probably made in China.
But it's pretty much the same.
Ship me that link, please.
That right there came from the North Korean nuclear program.
So it's a heavy water rocket, huh?
It's a heavy water rocket. Yeah. It's Kim Jong Un. Yes, he's.
Yeah, there's it's in the private chat, Stephanie.
Okie dokie.
Oh,
Guess who's going to be ordering that later on tonight?
Oh, go back down. Go back down, Joe.
Go back down. What?
Yeah. They've got the foot water balloon slingshot. A little bit more. One more. Right there.
Oh, no. that there's pain. I see the pain involved right now.
Let's see.
that's why we're willing to let you test it, Joe Dog.
Oh no.
Well, if Steph will test it, if somebody will get me up off the ground when I'm done.
Oh, heavens.
Well, it's a little rougher on guys than it would be for you, Steph.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Depends on exactly where it hits.
I see the point. The rubber band is going to come back after it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point.
Whiplash in a very new form.
But yeah, Stephanie, the water rockets are still available. And it's not a bad price either. They're only $8.94 plus shipping.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the shipping is from, though. Ships from Oasis Supply Company.
Well, it can't be too far away because if you bought it tonight, it would be there by the 14th.
It's 2 weeks. Oh, heck with it. You're mine.
Oh.
Ace says bring it to HallowCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it for the pumpkin chumpkin game.
Now, Dan, I used to pump mine up like this and then turn it 90 degrees and launch it at somebody.
Yeah,
I just shot mine straight up.
I used to know people that would take a little bit of about 8 foot of aluminum conduit and some bottle rockets and play games John would understand with them.
Hey, my favorite one were the Saturn missile batteries.
Oh, yeah.
I had a friend in college. I had a friend when I was working the space program. When he was in college, he was an engineer. And the house where he rented a room was on Frat Row. And evidently, at some point, they got tired of the fireworks battles in the backyards. So they got, back when they still made the tennis balls in the metal cans, and
Yeah.
they got one of the metal cans of tennis balls, and they opened it up and let all the tennis balls out, and then they drilled a small hole in the back of the can, and
Mm-hmm.
Dad knows what's coming here. Put a little,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was gasoline or lighter fuel.
Lighter fluid,
Yeah,
safer.
put that down in the can, and then load a tennis ball in it, aim it, and smack a match or a lit piece of cloth to the bottom, and the fuzz on the tennis ball would catch fire. It would, and they could aim it into the frat houses' backyards. So yeah, I
Yep.
wish I'd been around to see that one.
Yeah. John Himes says, I've enjoyed many hours of entertainment launching 2-liter bottles filled with water, a wine cork, and a bicycle pump with a football needle.
Um,
There's your Saturn missile battery.
mm-hmm.
It's about that one right there is a little less than 3 inches square on top.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little 25er.
Funny you should mention that.
Because I know they got a 100, a 250, and a 500.
I'm tickled to
There's your
death
100.
to get in the water
Yeah.
rocket. I really am. I had more fun with that thing when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, and the tennis ball gun.
Hmm.
The
Cannon.
the teaching aides at our local vacation Bible school used to make those out of a stack of Coca-Cola cans. And when you get those things about 5 feet tall, you get a little bit more range.
I would expect, yeah. You could
But
also
they would put
you could also
they would put potatoes in them rather than tennis balls.
All right. I'm
You
going to
could
tell
put-
this story, but when I do, I'm sure I'm going to get about 150 military soldiers in trouble for this.
Don't name names.
Now, I don't have to name names. You'll understand after I tell the story. We had these things called picket pounders. For those of you who don't know, it's for putting steel pickets in the ground. It's a type of hammer. It's a big steel pipe, about 2.5 feet long, about 6-inch round piece of
and
steel
you just
pipe.
do this.
2 big handles on the side. You put
I
it over
got
the top
one.
of the picket, clang, 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 until the picket goes into the ground deep enough.
Which beats the heck out of a sledgehammer.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
they
had
sell
some
them at
guys-
Tractor Supply.
Yes. We had some guys that were using one. They would turn it upside down where the hole's facing up. They would take a hand grenade simulator,
Oh shit.
pull the pin, drop it down inside, take a smoke grenade, pull the pin on that, put it with the spoon in on top of the hand grenade simulator, and then point it in the proper direction. And it would launch a smoke grenade about 250 to 300 yards.
Three football fields.
They made their own smoke mortars.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Improvised munitions.
Improvised munitions.
102.
Yes.
Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure that if there are any soldiers listening to this show, that's going to circulate out through the entire military. Matter of fact, it should be in Japan in about 30 seconds. But knowing how the grapevine works, there are soldiers in Japan just waking up going, hey, we need to try that Monday. It's Monday morning here. Let's try that. And
there'll be senior officers that go, damn it, John.
no, now the lieutenant, second lieutenants, first lieutenants love that sort of stuff. It's the captain that has to explain where all the ordnance went.
No,
Yeah.
I meant you're not supposed to tell what we used to do back when we were of lesser rank.
Well, that's like the story James Ward tells. Stephanie, you know James Ward, don't you?
I probably do, but the face is not connecting up with the name at the moment.
Do you remember
Considering how
him
much
coming on and
James
telling
has- Considering how much he's changed in his old age, you're absolutely correct. because he doesn't look like he did when he was a kid. So.
Yeah. James worked on board a subtender.
Is this the story about the tennis ball cannon?
Yeah. The tennis ball cannon with the settling.
They used the machine shop on board the subtender to build a tennis ball cannon.
Shit.
Mhm.
Keep going. Keep
It
going.
was a real good one too.
I bet.
They built this thing, with the pipe and all that, and built a little combustion chamber in it, and decided, well, we don't have any ether. Will the settling work? And James goes, you could, but I will. From the cutting torch.
Mm-hmm.
He said when they set that thing off, it knocked the dust out loose from the rafters.
Did it actually fire as opposed to blow it up?
It fired.
This wasn't a tin can potato cannon. This was like 3-inch steam pipe potato cannon or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would hold up to an awful lot of gas expansion under combustion.
And about 5 seconds after it went off, the ship went into general quarters.
We've been fired on.
No, it's more like, who we shooting at?
Okay. Do you remember the firecracker scene from Mr. Rogers or Mr. Roberts?
Mm-hmm.
There is a movie had Henry Fonda, James Cagney,
William Powell,
and who was the comedian, the young guy?
Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon, and it was about a cargo ship in World War II. And just the captain was a civilian lieutenant. He wasn't really a captain. He was captain of the ship, but he wasn't really a captain. He just got put in there because he was an officer, and nobody he was like Captain Bligh. Matter of fact, that's how they referred to him behind his back. And something happened, and they decided to have a celebration. The guy was going to he had a firecracker that he had built. Jack Lemmon's character had a firecracker that he had built. And they said, well, something that said something about gunpowder. And he says, gunpowder? He says, this isn't a little noisemaker. This is a firecracker. I used fulminate of mercury. And he runs down the hall. Fulminate of mercury? So he goes down to the laundry room where he keeps all his chemicals, lights this sucker up, and the whole ship, boom! And it burst a steam line, and the steam line sprayed into the laundry detergent. And the entire laundry room filled up with suds instantaneously. And it's like, he threw it behind one of the washing machines, a Navy washing machine, like industrial size washing machine, blew it to the other side of the laundry room. He comes running back in after he threw the firecracker. His uniform is shredded. He's covered in suds.
Oh, Lord.
If you ever get a chance.
That has just become a must see. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the really, really long tennis ball cannons earlier. If you strapped enough of those together, you don't have to make them that long. If you strap a bunch of them together, load them and set them off all at once, basically you've got a tennis ball storm as opposed to a metal storm. So
Can you imagine the labs and golden retrievers just freaking out?
Well, no, they're good. The tennis balls are going to be on fire. They ain't going to go running after them. All the fuzz
Well,
done burned off.
from the noise, though.
Yeah. Of course, a metal storm makes some noise too. I just had occasion. I was recently introduced to the concept of a metal storm in one of the books that I edited. So, John, maybe I'm getting some blank looks here, like not everybody knows what a metal storm is.
Okay. There's an Australian company that has invented a cannon called a metal storm. It comes in various calibers. But the way it works is you've got these gun barrels. And
You've got a matrix of gun barrels.
And you've got a projectile and a powder charge, projectile, powder charge, projectile, powder charge. And they're all there's an electric strip that runs down the inside of the barrel. And they're all electrically ignited. So depending on the length of the barrel, one barrel can have 10, 20, 30 shots in one barrel. You light this thing off, it instantaneously throws 30 bullets downrange. But that ain't where they stopped. They decided to put basically 20 barrels by 20 barrels in one big box, all aiming in the same direction. And they've kept increasing it in size and stuff like that. They literally have one gun that can throw 1 million rounds downrange in a half a second.
That'll put a spot on the front seat.
And the really nasty one that they've got is one that shoots 40 millimeter grenades, similar to the 40 millimeter grenade launcher.
I'm trying to find
Where
the author sent me.
Was it? It wasn't John Ringo, was it?
No.
No, John Ringo used them in some of his books.
He sent me a video of it, and I'm trying to find it.
I can find it. I'll put it on Stupid O'Clock here in a minute.
Okay. Because I'm not finding it. He sends me a lot of stuff. When I get down, I send him when I get down, he sends me funnies. When I get down, when he gets down, I send him funnies, and so the video got buried. So, Kiri, you're being quiet over there.
Kiri's always kind of quiet.
Yeah, I'm always quiet.
He's plotting something constantly.
Oh, yes. I think you and Joe Dog and John know that too well, that I'm always plotting something.
Yet we never seem to catch you once these things occur.
I'm mysterious that way.
Okay, Joe, you need to play the doodah.
Hold on a second. Somebody has taken the French castle scene from Monty Python and did it with cats.
Now, wait a minute. House Cats or the musical Cats?
House Cats.
Okay, just check.
And it's unshareable, which makes it even worse.
What? There's no such thing as unshareable. You just have to figure out a way to move it where you want it.
Okay, that's just not right. That's wrong on so many levels. I'll try to send it to everybody in a little bit.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Carl. Now, Stephanie, I needed to do what?
You needed to play doodah.
Oh.
For Kiri.
Let me find it.
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Well, I will admit I did learn a lot about doing the sketchy shit and getting away with it from the best, for sure.
And now you're studying us. This is not an uphill trend.
Guess who?
Wait a minute. We're
I
the
Yeah,
don't
bad
know,
because-
Ron.
Hey, Elrod. Kitty, kitty, meow, meow. Meow, meow.
Yes, Carl, Donna is behaving. Everything that she does is a form of behavior. You should know this.
Yeah, you're a psychologist. You know whatever she does is a form of behavior.
Next
tell you,
Friday is going to be fun.
Oh man, I can't tell you. I can't begin to tell you how much sneakiness I've done just to troll, just to have a little bit of fun. Back when I was, from when I was like a teenager, even to today.
Padawan, let me hang around me a little longer. I'll teach you the proper ways to do it.
Oh yes.
Really?
Ask Dan.
Y'all have no idea the sneaky shit that this innocent face has been able to accomplish undetected.
Well, I needed a new master, anyways.
Well. I don't think I can take on a second Padawan at the moment. So, Joe,
Oh, I'll gladly take him under my wing.
yep.
Carrie, I'm going to put it to you this way. I've had a con director grab me by the shoulder after I walked past him, spin me around, and go, "What did you do?" All because I smiled. I said, "Nothing." He goes, "You giggled. What did you do?"
And you weren't near an elevator, so we know it wasn't a digestive diversion.
That was tomorrow. That's tomorrow, Rob.
That's gonna be tomorrow.
I'm about half tempted to drive up there just to see that. So
Go for it.
It's just a bunch of geeks at a picnic.
So's outside con.
that's my backyard.
Yeah, I'm likely gonna be there. Joe Doug, you gonna be there?
Me and Donna are planning on. I just don't know.
Hey Joe.
My favorite time of sleeping is somewhere between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Hey Joe, take your
Yeah.
glow in the dark bracelets up there.
Oh yeah.
In the daylight.
Sun will go down sometime.
Oh,
Unless
And that'll
NASA's
give you
involved.
time to escape.
now I'll tell you, some of those deer up there are so tame. The bucks will walk up to you and you could pet them.
But they want a sandwich.
I would be so tempted to put glow lights on a buck's rack and then let him loose through the woods about sunset.
Yeah, but then
Have a deer rave.
yeah. Just make sure it's
dear.
not during deer season.
Well, up there they're protected.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
okay.
it's a state park,
Yeah, they got signs where don't feed the deer, don't feed the wildlife, don't feed the raccoons. You don't have to feed the raccoons up at Harrison Bay State Park. Them little bastards will break into your damn camper at gunpoint.
There's this island out there there's a bridge goes out to it, and it's where all the RV parking is for people with the recreation vehicles. There is a 1-year waiting period to get a RV spot.
Wow.
But it's nice.
No, that's County Park. That's Chester Frost.
Oh. No, Harrison Bay's down off of 58. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's that? It's got a name. It's named for some famous person.
Chester Frost.
No. Harrison Bay State Park. It's not actually Harrison Bay State Park. The campground's named something else, and I can't remember what it's called.
I've only known it as Harrison Bay.
Where the hell is Google? Where did I leave Google?
I know there's
where did y'all-
one. I know there's one state park.
Oh, Booker T. Washington.
Yeah,
That's the one I'm
yeah.
trying to remember.
Okay, yeah, no, there's no camping there.
Is there not? I thought they had cabins and stuff.
No, it's
It's like Tallulah Gorge. You can look at it, but you can't stay.
yeah. Booker T is a. I'm trying to be the pop.
Yeah, group lodge, group camps.
Okay, yeah, they have group stuff, but they don't have actual camping. They don't have actual campsites.
Not for individuals.
Yeah, yeah. Booker T was for. I'm trying to think of a polite way of saying this.
It was the black people's camp.
What we want to don't
Well,
need to
considering that the lodge is called the Tuskegee Airmen Group Lodge,
Yeah.
you think people might figure that out.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, it's we've done con events out there before.
Yeah.
Because I remember having to clean that damn kitchen. Apparently, I'm the only person that knows how a scrub pad works.
And Harrison Bay is where SCA sets up spot.
I believe that's who I believe I went out there with them too. Long ago.
I have a cat trying to tell me something, and I can't figure out what he wants me to do.
I bet if you put food, I bet you put food in the bowl, he'd be happy.
He's got food in the bowl.
Does he have whiskey in the jar?
He does not have whiskey in the jar.
Well, there's what he's trying to tell you right there.
Well, he was
Release the
trying to-
Kraken, Mama.
Better hurry
Hello,
before he draws
yes.
his pistol, then he'll draw his saber.
Yeah, really. He does have boots, sort of. He's Siamese.
All right, let me see here. Barack Obama has won an Emmy.
For
He was narrating something for the National Park Service.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, he does have a nice voice.
Yes, he does.
I was shocked the other day. There was a series on Nat Geo that was about the various and sundry national parks. And I knew the voice sounded familiar. The narrator, it was Garth Brooks.
oh,
Without Southern,
Yeah.
so he did a really good job.
It can be done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, everybody tells me my speech patterns completely change when I'm delivering a serious lecture.
oh yeah,
So
I would. Yeah, I'd say probably nobody has noticed it, but mine do too.
When I joined the Army, I was very quiet. I didn't speak very much. And I tried really hard not to have a Southern accent. Because I didn't want to be known as that guy in basic training, because, But it only took them 1 minute where somebody said, "Where are you from?" Chattanooga, Tennessee. "Oh, Tennessee. We love the Army. They'll give you 2 pairs of boots here." Which was exactly the sort of stuff I was trying to avoid.
yeah.
And it's-
Well, it's interesting for me because I've been told I have Dolly Parton's accent, despite not being from the same part of Tennessee she's from. And when I'm in Texas, if I change it just a little bit, everybody thinks I'm from Texas. I had some of those cowboys falling all. I got lost trying. Well, I was in Houston. I was trying to find a particular place in downtown Houston, according to my uncle's directions, and he lived in the area, and I got lost. So I wound up stopping at a hot stop and very
Did the
deliberately.
directions involve a handful of quarters?
No.
Okay. If you
But
go to
the
Dallas,
problem,
if you go to Dallas, they tell you take a handful of pocket change because there's toll roads.
well, I'm going to Dallas later this month, so um but yeah, I couldn't figure out, the directions he was giving me was coming from one direction and I was coming from a different direction and it wasn't working. And
That must be a Texas thing because my parents used to do the same. My dad lived outside Dallas and gave me directions on how to get to his house coming from Tennessee, but the directions were from his house toward Tennessee. So I had to backwards plan.
FinCon, yes, Chris, I'm going to FinCon.
Ooh.
At least that's the plan because they shuffled me off into the Overflow Hotel when I'm going to have a scooter, and the hotel is across the freeway, and the shuttle bus won't accommodate a mobility scooter, and there's no way to get there with the mobility scooter otherwise. So that could get really interesting really quick if they can't get me back into the original hotel.
Well, talk with Lee Martindale. I got a feeling she'd probably help you.
Except I don't know. I don't think she's going. I don't know. I haven't seen her on the list of attendees.
Tell them you want a chauffeur, and not the one
they'll have to send a handicap accessible van if they don't get me over there.
Yeah.
Now I got cat hair all over.
I'm pretty sure that sort of stuff's tax deductible. Being as most conventions are not for profit. I can't remember.
This is not the convention. This is the hotel. The hotel screwed up royally. They double booked at least 150 rooms.
Ooh.
It's amazing how in the modern age with computers that can help you do all this booking and stuff like that hotels and airlines will screw up their booking. Like, there are people that ran hotels and trains in the 1920s
that did
with
better.
Paper.
That did
and
better.
One of those phones where you had to hold up, like this telegram. That they'd get a telegram about somebody wanting a room, and they didn't screw up nearly as bad as modern hotels do with computers.
Well, where it gets interesting is, according to my understanding, of course, the convention has a contract with the hotel, but it's the non-convention people that got those 150 rooms for the most part.
I believe the proper terminology is lawsuit.
Not my call. I'm just a guest speaker. But if it was my convention, yeah.
Class action lawsuit for everybody that's attending the convention.
It's pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why airlines double book is because they know people are going to miss their flights, and that way they got a bird full for takeoff.
But I mean, anyway,
they lost. I was going back to Iraq from my leave, and they lost our airplane.
What?
Lost the airplane.
Lost the airplane.
The whole airplane.
The whole airplane. It was supposed to leave Dallas and show up in Chattanooga's level field, I think it was. Yeah, Chattanooga's level field. For the 8 a.m. flight. And I, of course, had to wake up real early to go to the airport and everything. So I'm sitting there, And they said, they made the announcement, flight so and so and so and so. If you're on flight so and so and so, so the flight has been canceled, and you need to report back to the ticketing desk to be rescheduled for another flight. I went in there. So what happened to the airplane? We don't know. What? It's not in Dallas. It's not in Chattanooga. It's not in the air. We don't know where the airplane went.
Atlanta. If
Probably.
it's not in Dallas, it's not in the air. It's Atlanta.
Apparently, when it landed in Dallas, it broke. They broke the airplane.
Oh.
So somehow or another, they towed it over to this place where they were going to fix the airplane.
Pep Boys. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. AutoZone.
Yeah.
So they tow over there. They're doing whatever they need to do to the airplane. And they just didn't bother to tell anybody that the airplane wasn't at that airport anymore.
Kidneys. That's an old joke, guys. Never mind.
They're the wrong color.
Anyway,
that was a new joke, but
we wound up catching another plane around noon. But of course, because it was 4 hours after when we were supposed to be getting on an airplane, we missed our flight from Atlanta to Germany. And it's supposed to go from Atlanta to New York to Germany to Iraq. So about 300 soldiers were sitting around like, what the heck do we do? So they had to jump through their butt to put us in a motel for the night, so we could catch the next day's plane, which strangely enough was already scheduled for another 300 people.
And y'all had 300 people involved.
Actually, they got another plane. So, apparently, the people in Atlanta know how to. Apparently, Atlanta knows how to run an airline. Maybe.
I've had more problems flying through Atlanta than anywhere else.
that's because there are more flights to Atlanta than there are anywhere else.
No, I'm talking about, like, I can remember they had us board the plane, and then we actually pushed back, and then they pulled us back up to the gate, and we had to sit there because there was a thunderstorm coming through. Well, it turned out that it was a string of training thunderstorms, so it took a while. Well, when the weather finally cleared up, the flight crew had already been in the seats longer, or it was part of the flight crew and the flight attendants had already been there longer than they were union contract allowed to be there, and they walked. And so then they had to scramble and find the rest of the crew for the plane, and they wouldn't let us off the plane. We sat there on that plane for hours with no food, no water, not allowed to stand up and walk around.
Who's going to stop you if the crew ain't working? Hey, you're off duty. Get the hell out of here.
I don't think they're permitted to do that anymore now.
Yeah. See, nowadays, the second they say we're not going to let you off the plane, that's when you fake a heart attack.
Well, I was young enough at that point. I don't think they'd have believed me. So, but yeah. And then there was somebody actually did have a heart attack on the plane as we were on approach to Atlanta, and we got the emergency landing, clear the landing queue. We have an emergency. This plane is coming in fast.
That's another good thing when you fake a heart attack. It's
Yeah, but I mean, I was having to do. We were coming in at such a steep angle. I was doing this.
How And you find yourself pushing brakes you don't have.
Yeah, uh-huh. So yeah, that was the airline, Chris, but it was the main airline for that airport. I'll put it like that.
Rising from out of the tomb. The undead strikes again.
He's playing with that darn toy.
It sounds like the airline in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It really.
You know, there's a joke in Chattanooga that if you die and go to heaven, you have to go through Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
You have to change flights in Atlanta. Yep.
Louis Grizzard.
Hmm.
That's probably why I'm just gonna stay in Chattanooga, haunt the area.
You know, the same thing could
wouldn't it
be
be
said
funny
about
if you-
Dallas.
Wouldn't it be funny if you could actually pick like where you want to haunt?
Oh, that would be awesome.
I don't want to haunt.
That's
don't
too
wanna
much
know.
work.
I just want to go. I want to go be with Daryl.
I want to haunt the mayor's office.
Which mayor?
Mayor of Chattanooga.
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
All of them from now on.
Heck yeah.
Oh.
We'll haunt them and use the same old tricks Joe Dog would teach us.
That's one of my favorite characters from the Harry Potter series.
Which is on the TV right now.
Is Moaning Myrtle,
Yes.
who she died, came back as a ghost, and started terrorizing this girl that had picked on her, bullied her. She got to haunt her bully basically for a long time, and the bully went and complained to the Ministry of Magic, and somehow or another they locked her in a bathroom. I have no
Yeah.
idea how that works.
And now she haunts a particular toilet and the sewer system.
And so she can go through all the pipes in Hogwarts, and that one stall in the third floor girls' bathroom. Okay. And I got to thinking, if you had to get stuck as a ghost someplace, that would be awesome. To be stuck in a bathroom, wait for somebody to come and start using the bathroom, and just start making noises. And people come out of the bathroom going, "It wasn't me, it was a ghost." Honest.
I think you broke Kiri.
You're giving me too many ideas, Sean. Good job.
There's the obvious line about that,
Yes,
that I'm sure that nobody needs me to supply.
Bad influence.
I'll tell you right now, John, that's the difference between guys and girls. Guys, we get in there, we to make it echo in the bowl.
Yeah, we're there for business. Okay.
We're there for business. The girls are so embarrassed if it echoes in the bowl. Us guys, damn, did you hear that one?
You ever notice that they've got this spray that you can spray on top of the water in the toilet that
Poopery.
kills the smell of the poop. Okay.
Yeah.
They always have women in the commercials. You never see a guy going, "I need to hide the smell of my poop." No, that product would not sell to men. Okay.
Oh, so you haven't seen the Christmas commercial when Santa
Dumps his cookies.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is as opposed to tossing the cookies.
Yeah.
This is more of a case of explosive decompression.
Have you ever seen that cartoon about when you're really on the naughty list and it shows Santa? He's got his pants down, he's sitting on top of the chimney, and he's taking a dump down the chimney.
I hadn't seen that one though.
Okay, I'll see if I can find that and post it to students.
And you do know there is a product that is the exact opposite of that deodorant that can be used for practical jokes. Somebody used that on
Stink
an
mops.
Atlanta.
Yes.
Somebody used that on an Atlanta rapid transit train. and they were walking from one end of the train to the other with the smell following them all the way through the train. And by the time he got to the third or fourth car, he looked like he was worried somebody was going to pop a cap in him.
Um,
It started off with a big grin because it was a practical joke.
if you do
Then
it
he
just right,
realized it was really not a good idea.
you take the stink bombs, you put the toilet seat down in the public toilet, and you wedge the stink bomb right underneath that little pad on the bottom of the toilet seat. Okay. And leave. And when somebody comes in and sits down, it breaks that thing. The stink smell comes out. Okay.
Sounds like the voice of experience, doesn't it?
Just a little bit.
All I'm going to say is don't do that with snapping pops for your significant other.
In the
I'm not
barracks,
going to ask how you know.
in the barracks, we used to take the snapping pops,
I'll ask
go to
Donna.
somebody's barracks room door.
What's a
Stick-
snapping pop?
Snapping pop.
It's
Hang on,
it's like a British Christmas cracker, but it's tiny, like firecracker size. It's got two strings coming out each end. When you put tension on it and pull it, it pops.
No,
Not
no,
as loud
no.
as a firecracker, but
No. Hang on a minute. Let me see.
No, snapping pops it looks like a little wrapped up gumdrop.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You throw one of those and it pow.
it's
Sounds about
Flint,
like a cat gun.
It's Flint and I can't remember the name of the chemical, but it's one of those chemicals that as you apply pressure to it, it explodes.
Okay.
And
I
they
know
put
a
it in there
couple of
with-
those, but I was a farmer.
Yeah, needless to say, just don't put snapping pops underneath the toilet seats.
Yeah.
Those are
Because
snapping
that would
Yep.
okay.
I have known people to sprinkle those along a gravel path.
But what we used to do is in the barracks, we would take them and put the tail on top of right in between the door frame and the door, wedge them up in there. Somebody'd open their door and they just start falling. They're not terribly loud, but it will blow that paper open and blow that little gravel stuff all over the place.
They're
I'm gonna
great
remember
they're great in hotels that have the little tile hallway entrance to your room. You put a few of those. It's great. Gives you a little security for the in case somebody accidentally, if somebody tries to get into your room, to wake you up while you're sleeping.
Mm.
The problem is you got to remember to take them down before you go outside, or you scare the shit out of yourself.
Nobody better pull that stunt on me, okay? Because those sorts of things are grounds for going what's the word I'm looking for?
Postal?
That'll do. Yeah, that'll
Ballistic.
do. Ballistic is another one that'll do. Berserker is a word that'll work.
Oh, okay. It's either gravel or coarse sand impregnated with a minute quantity of silver fulminate high explosive and twisted into a cigarette paper.
That would do it. Yes. Okay.
And John, have you ever thrown a whole box at one time?
Yes.
That's loud.
Have y'all ever seen the
We used to use them. We sprinkle them in the buildings, in the military operations, in urban terrain sites. These big concrete buildings where we did urban combat training. We used to sprinkle them in all the doorways so nobody could sneak in.
Have y'all ever seen the Fred Astaire dance routine where he's supposedly throwing firecrackers down and dancing around them? Except it goes on too long for the point at which he was supposed to have lit the firecrackers. And I'm wondering if that wasn't what they were using.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. It would make sense, yeah. Much and be safer too.
Yeah. Oh,
Now, the ones I was talking about, my dad did that once. He tied the string one end to a cabinet door in the kitchen and the other end to the support for the cabinet door in the kitchen, and waited for Mama to open that cabinet door. He only did it once.
okay. I think I just found it.
Donna says it's Holiday Inn with Bing Crosby.
Yeah, it is. It's the 4th of July number. It's called "Say It with Firecrackers." I just found it.
Oh, did you hear the news that 22,000 smart thermostats in Colorado decided
what
to
now?
lock out all of their users because an energy emergency popped up, and the smart online thermostats just basically turned off everybody's air conditioners.
Wow.
In Scottsboro?
It's in Colorado.
It's in Colorado. Okay,
Um,
that would not be good.
Yeah.
What part of Colorado?
oh, that's what I'm reading. Well, it's just, let me see here.
That would only happen at my house once, right, Dan?
Apparently, they
It won't happen in my house ever because I'm not getting a smart thermostat.
if you are a customer of Xcel Energy, you have to have one of their smart thermostats. And then apparently, it just basically told everybody, "Sorry, we're turning off your air conditioner today."
Jeez.
And then here's what's funny: is the president of the company or the vice president of the company said it's a voluntary program.
Ick.
Sure
Yeah, you can do without electricity, or you can volunteer to be in this program.
Have you ever, speaking of bathroom pranks, have you ever wrapped some saran wrap like on the bowl, put the seat down or the cover, and then waited for somebody to take a number 2?
I've never done that one, but I have been tempted. The other one I like. Have you ever heard about the one with Vaseline and Saran wrap?
Mm-mm.
You string the Saran wrap across the door frame and then coat it in Vaseline, and somebody comes walking through it. It's,
That just sounds nasty.
yeah, it is. But
And y'all are the. Never mind, I ain't going there.
you know that little outhouse toy that Joe's got? They used to make those little Halloween toys that the motion sensor ones, when you walk by them, they jump out and scare you, little things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody put one of those in his wall locker. There was a secure area in his wall locker, and it's the wall locker padlocks from the front. But you open it up, and there's a series of shelves on one side, and one of them has another padlock hasp on it, so you can put like your wallet with your money and keys and stuff like that in there and lock it up. But during inspections, you're not allowed to have it locked. He put one of those in that little secure locker, but he left the door shut on it. And sure enough, the command sergeant major is going through and sees it. Why is this closed? Opens up. Now, the funny
that
thing
had
is,
repercussions.
well, not really, because everybody in the room kind of worked for the command sergeant major. So, one of them was his driver. So they were just messing with him.
Oh, I just added a video over to Stupid O'Clock. It's the Sturgeon Project.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm fixing to add the Fred Astaire routine.
Yeah. There's like a 12, 14 foot long sturgeon. It's catch and release. They tag the sturgeon, and they believe this probably 100-year-old sturgeon has never been caught before.
Wow. Oh, and there's the Metal Storm video. Yeah.
Ah, I put 2 of them up, I think.
Okay. Yeah, the first one is the one that I've seen.
The one with the little gun,
Yeah.
and then they got that. There's the one in the shape of the cross.
Uh-huh.
The small, all those small gun barrels are 9mm, I think. And if you look in the corners, the 4 guns you see in the corners are the 40 mics. Like a sturgeon.
Derek, please.
Hey, anybody that comes on the show and quotes a Weird Al Yankovic tune is good by me. Okay, that's just,
All right.
it don't get much nerdier than that.
Oh, and all y'all might actually get to meet Pizza Man at HallowCon.
Oh, really? You
Cool.
bringing pizza?
No, but he has he will be helping out at the grill.
Ah,
Oh, cool.
but no pizza.
Yeah. I hadn't got a pizza oven on there yet. I'm working on it. Give me time.
We have at our house a Traeger smoker grill. And it uses the little wood pellets, the flavored wood pellets.
Yeah.
Runs it to the thing, and it's a convection grill. It uses air to heat up and moves the smoke and all sorts of things. They don't get real hot. Max temperature on most of these is just about 400 degrees. But they do have a pizza oven attachment, and all it is a sheet metal box that you put inside of this thing over the firebox so that it contains the heat better. And the pizza oven appliance will let it go up to inside the pizza box 700 degrees.
Whoa.
Which is fine for cooking pizzas. But I'm wondering if Joe could build something like that for Grillzilla, because basically all it is a metal box that holds in the heat. I can't remember who it was, and I meant to tell Stephanie about this one day and just completely forgot about it. I was at one of the HallowCon's, and this guy, who I cannot remember who he was, I wish I could. I hate that I can't remember names very well. But he used to work for one of the subcontractors for NASA. He was the guy that came up with the material that made the insulating tiles on the space shuttles. And it's that ceramic stuff. And they'd come up, after they did the NASA stuff, they came up with a version of it that was a dip, that you could dip something in it, let it dry, and it would have those same insulating qualities that the space shuttle tiles had. And what was really cool about it, he took this little strip of sheet metal, about this long, about the size of a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor. And half of it was coated with this ceramic material. And not much. I mean, it wasn't even a 1/16 of an inch thick. If that, I mean, it wasn't even 32nd of an inch, just this little thin coating on half of it, so that you could see that it was actually a piece of sheet metal. See, half of it was sheet metal, half of it had ceramic coating. Took a propane torch, held it by the metal, hit the propane torch on the insulated side of it until it was cherry red.
And he was still holding it with
And he was still holding the metal.
Cool.
Mm.
Yep.
Turned off the torch, waited a few seconds, says, "Now watch this." And he grabbed the cherry red end. The metal inside was red hot, but that little coating of that ceramic insulation protected his fingers from the heat inside, but you could still see the light coming out through it.
There's E.W. Brefute from TMV Cafe.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
You do indeed see a Stephanie E.W.
Somebody was asking earlier, says, you only got 8 viewers? We get a lot of viewers. They just don't all come on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You would be surprised of some of the high-end quality entertainment personalities we have show up on this show for 5 minutes. It's like Bob Hope walking through with a golf bag. Hey, guys, I'm going to see if I can get in another 9 holes for
We're actually, last night, Dan, you were there. We may actually have a pretty cool guest coming.
Coming on the show? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming on the show.
Whom? Can I ask? Or are you going to keep it secret?
We're going to keep it secret until then. And I've invited.
The last time you had a secret guest on the show, I called him a goober and didn't realize they were going to be so sensitive about it.
At least you didn't call him a raisinette.
Hey, I'm from the South. I was in the military. I call everybody honey, sugar, darling, goober, all those nice, quaint Southern shows. If they can't handle that, that's their problem.
My sister regularly references her son as Goober. And she means it perfectly affectionately. I mean,
yeah, it's a Southern thing,
My sister started trying to call me Bubba, and I just looked her straight in the face the first time and said, I am not a Bubba. Okay.
on Daryl's side of the family, there are a number of nieces and nephews. And one of the nephews upped and decided Daryl was going to be Uncle Bubba. And anybody less a Bubba than Daryl, I cannot imagine. But you know what? That stuck until he got old enough to realize Daryl's not a Bubba.
Yep.
My dad was Joseph Preston Scarborough. Okay. If he had named me Joseph Preston Scarborough, I would have been Junior. He hated the term Junior. That's why I did not get the name Joseph. My brother, the second born one, got the name Joseph Preston Scarborough, the second.
Because he wasn't the firstborn.
Because he wasn't the firstborn. And then my brother Jake, his second son, I think, or third son. His third son was named Joseph Preston Scarborough III. So, or Joey, as everybody called him.
Stephanie?
Yes, Joey?
You're the only one that's going to understand this, but I got to run down the hall.
Okay.
Please, give me a little credit. I do listen.
More he remembers.
Joe, we can still hear you. Okay, you're not fooling anybody. I can hear his chair squeaking as he was moving around, and he's like being sneaky and stuff. Wait a minute. Let me try something real quick. Alexa, play death metal.
He already told Alexa to shut up when.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. He learned.
John, this if we can get this book that I just that I edited last week that introduced me to Metal Storm.
Yes.
If we can get this thing published, you're gonna like it. So,
when the Metal Storm came out, okay, there was this program that the military had. They wanted to put point defense systems on tanks to stop incoming rockets and missiles. Okay. The first one was a series of small claymore mines in metal boxes down the side of the tank. Germans actually came up with something like this in World War II for their Tigers. What they would do is they would put a modified anti-personnel landmine in these boxes. And if somebody got too close to the tank, somebody flipped a switch and it would shoot these basically bouncing Betty landmines out away from the tank. They would explode and kill everybody around it. But it was tiny ball bearings. It wasn't going to do a lot of damage to the tank. military or U.S. Army was experimenting with something like that. They wanted these small claymore mines, basically, down the sides of the
So
tank.
make sure you point them in the right direction. Yes.
Well, they're in a box. It doesn't matter if you point them in the right direction or not. It's in a big steel box. It's going to go out that like a shotgun. And
I'm referencing the whole thing with the claymores. Point this way.
when the United States military decided that they were going to stop using the anti-personnel type landmines, like the one the military has or the one the U.S. military has, is the M16A1, and it's a big bouncing Betty mine, basically, or as the proper terminology is, bounding fragmentation mine, anti-personnel, M16A1, one each, blue in color. But they were talking about putting a device in there to launch those out, but they wouldn't really. They'll stop personnel, but they won't really stop missiles or anything like that. So then they came up with this neat thing. You're familiar with the electric Gatling guns that the military uses.
Mm-hmm.
They actually came up with one in 5.56 millimeter.
Okay.
Used the same belt ammunition that the squad automatic weapon uses, but it would be a little 6-barrel Gatling gun with radar and thermal and all sorts of stuff. And if it detected rockets coming in, spin around, shoot down a rocket as it's coming in. Only problem was it had the same problem the Sergeant York gun, is it didn't differentiate targets very well. Yeah. Let's put it this way. Nobody wanted to be within 500 meters of that damn tank when it was going down the road. The next one they were playing around with was the metal storms, and having these small actuated boxes on the sides of the turret that as the missiles were coming in, it start throwing crap out. Yeah.
Boom,
that was actually the last time I saw anything about the point defense system. And strangely enough, the metal storm, you don't see anything about them anymore after the Army showed some interest in it.
Did it go classified, you think? Or did they give up?
Wondering if whatever was applied to it has gone classified. Yes. There might be some neat little, yeah, bring it on.
Well, I can sure see why. I mean, good grief.
Can you imagine a bunch of Chinese landing craft try to land on a beach in Taiwan, and a bunch of billboards that are set up on the front of the beach, like, drink Coca-Cola and stuff like that, aren't actually billboards? They're 10-foot by 30-foot metal storm launchers.
We're talking hash.
Shredded wheat.
The first 17 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, they show that beach landing at D-Day. And it was so realistic, it actually gave World War II veterans PTSD issues.
Oh, wow.
It would be just like that, only it would only take place in about 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Instead of 17 minutes.
So you saw Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah. Who hasn't?
Do you remember the scene where the guy gets killed right next to Tom Hanks, and he has that look on his face of, oh my God?
Yeah, that was their platoon sergeant, played by Michael Madsen.
Yeah. It was Spielberg that did that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Do you know that blood that was thrown on him in that scene was 98.6 degrees?
Well, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
It was
talk about method acting.
Yeah, that look on his face was the warm blood. That's because he was actually looking at the guy thinking, Did they just blow his fucking head?
I can't remember who it was talking about early Hollywood gangster movies. And he was a star that was in all these. I'm going to say it was Edward G. Robinson, but I might be wrong about that. Or
Jimmy Cagney.
Oh, Cagney. Thank you. Cagney said that they used to do this. They'd have the guy poke out around the corner at the 45 and duck back around the corner. And then somebody would fire a Thompson submachine gun down the brick wall where the guy had just ducked in behind it. And what you were actually seeing was 45 slugs bouncing off the bricks and concrete. I said, yeah, we didn't do it. We didn't have special effects back then. We stuck our face out around the corner, ducked back. Somebody would try and
Use live ammo, yeah.
saw off the corner of the building with a Thompson. So,
it's a great special effect until it works.
that's. I'll have to find that quote. It was on one of those Making of Hollywood, History of Hollywood type shows or something like that. They interviewed the guy and he was like, yeah, we didn't have special effects back then. Special effects was not getting shot.
Well, that doesn't work that well anymore.
Oh, we're not talking about anyone in particular, are we?
Oh, can't imagine who we might be talking about.
I can't imagine that happening to a nicer guy.
Yeah, really.
As sad as it is that somebody got shot, we had a term for that in the military called clusterfuck. Why was there even ball ammo on the movie set at all?
There shouldn't have been, but it's my understanding that some of the cast and crew was taking the weaponry offset in the off hours to a range and actually firing it.
That's a lack of control right there. They let the live ammo come back to a blank ammo.
Somebody didn't clear the pistol properly. And
bad
somebody else didn't verify that it was clear.
And it's a Colt, a Colt Peacemaker. Okay, you have to load the bullets one at a time through the gate. It's not like they're dumping a magazine or something like this into the weapon. It's literally 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, 4. Somebody should have seen that. I mean, that's why I'm thinking it wasn't an accident. Okay, that's because it's either gross negligence or an assassination. One of those. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, Chris.
I'm not sure. Everybody says it was mishandling ammunition, but I think what happened was the blank adapter came out of the barrel. Because military blank adapters usually bolt on to a projectile firing weapon. Hey, Rich. Hollywood blank adapters, they typically take a weapon and weld something inside the barrel so that bullets can't go through it at all. But you put blanks in it and you still see all the flame and everything come out. So it looks like a real gun, it just doesn't work like one. And from what I understand, that happens quite often. They'll weld those blank adapters in there, and sometimes the welds will break because a lot of people don't know what the hell they're welding inside those gun barrels because there's a lot of chrome involved, and chrome's hard to weld.
Well, even a blank can cause damage because Daryl used to do special effects and backstage work at Opryland when it was a theme park, and they had all of the different shows
and had the shootouts,
and had the shootouts and everything, and they were constantly having somebody or another over in the infirmary because they
got too close. Yeah.
Well, they screwed up as they were drawing the weapon out of the holster, and it shot down their thigh, ripped up the costume, ripped up their thigh.
Military M16s, M4 carbines use something called an M200 blank, and it's just a crimped 5.56 blank. And right there on the box, there's 20 of them in a box. Right there on the box, it says, "Do not shoot at anyone within 20 feet."
Yep.
Because even with the blank adapters screw into the muzzle. They go over the muzzle cap, screw in the muzzle. There's a little tiny hole. about the size of a number 2 pencil lead in the side of the rod. There's a hollow rod that goes down inside the muzzle. And you screw it in and tighten it up. And the gas comes out to one side, depending on how tightly you get it onto the thing. So the blast isn't actually going straight out, but it's still dangerous within 20 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the guy Rich Aspen's talking about there was John Eric Hexel.
And yeah, his because the blanket after they were he put it to his temple with a blank in it and didn't realize it was going to create a 5-foot fireball.
Yeah.
And basically shot himself in the head and did enough trauma to die.
Well, yeah, that's going to do plenty of trauma, all right. People don't understand that shock waves are serious business. You know, most people don't, the average rank and file person doesn't understand that you can be wearing a vest, a bulletproof vest, and unless you've got shock plates in there, okay, fine, the bullet isn't going to penetrate. You can still die.
But it's still like getting hit with a baseball bat.
That's right.
Even with
And if
hard.
it hits you in the wrong place, that shock wave traveling through your internal organs can rupture stuff and you can still die.
Shock trauma.
Yes.
That's actually what a bullet does to the human body is it creates shock trauma. And occasionally it makes a hole big enough to let all the blood out.
Yep.
But that isn't usually what kills people. Depending on the bullets.
Yeah. As to how I know some of the stuff I know, guys, I stick mystery elements into most of my books. So if I didn't know it, I had to learn it. So
oh boy. Well, we got about 20 minutes left. Can anybody else think of anything fun to talk about?
Oh.
What died in here?
I can see how much fun that's going to be.
Oh, well, you ought to see some of the animatronic dolls that I've got now.
Hey, Joe.
I'm not going to touch that line if you were to hand me $100 bill. No.
neither am I.
They're not from Japan, are they?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
No, these are from China.
Even
Just
creepier.
Yeah, even creepier. Because you don't know who's been in there first. Okay.
Thank you,
Oh.
Chris. I do try hard. I do try hard.
Yeah. You take my point, Rich, but even in the green room, I don't think I would have touched that one.
I'm gun shy right now.
Because,
I've got a gray cat sitting in the chair beside me.
oh, okay.
You've seen the picture, haven't you, Stephanie?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
I mean, he hopped over here and he was lovey and all that. And just, Dan was watching. I mean, it was that quick. He went from loving daddy to
Murder switch.
Oh, and this is a term John will understand. Fur missiles.
Fur missiles?
Fur missiles.
Explain, please.
It's what they call attack dogs, fur missiles.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. You think you're quick. Try to outrun a fur missile.
Actually, the trick is to wait until they leap and then spin to one side and watch them go by. And they give you this look like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to stand there and let me chew your arm off, like the guy in training did.
Yeah, but when you do that, to them and they land and they turn around, they make up for it on the trip back.
Not really. It's you blow their whole confidence. You know, 1 minute they're the alpha predator getting ready to take somebody. The next minute they're like, you know,
How did I miss?
you're not supposed to do that. I'm calling the ASPCA. This is animal cruelty.
And thank you, Chris. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Rich, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all decide who's going to press the buttons, okay?
Do I have to press the button again?
Well, it's not time. We've still got 15 minutes.
Somebody press the button and somebody else unpress the button. I think what we had there was a failure to communicate. That was not what I meant.
I have a lap cat.
Oh.
Nicely done, yes.
You know what's funny about that is that reminds me of my little brother and me so much. It's not even funny.
Let me guess, you were the one with the drum kit.
No.
Oh, you were the kid doing the face plant?
Yes. My brother was the musician, so still is to a certain extent.
I can remember doing some work in the yard to clear. We'd just done some landscaping work in the backyard, so we were clearing rocks and moving them into a wheelbarrow and whatnot. And my sister was, geez, I don't think she was even in elementary school yet. And she was like, she picked up a rock as big as her head. And she says, "Watch me throw this." And I was between her and the wheelbarrow. And I could not move fast enough. And she did not have nearly the muscle strength that she thought she did.
Oh,
It's a
Stephanie,
miracle I don't have calcified knots all over my head.
there is one more little video clip. I want to make sure you're not drinking anything. You're in.
No, I'm good. Drink's over here.
Okay.
Cat's right here.
All right. Carrie, don't drink. I'll let you finish the drink. Here we go.
If there's a wiener on that monitor, I swear to God, Stu.
Actually, Stephanie, I experienced the exact opposite of that. We were out in a cornfield picking corn by hand, throwing it into a wagon on the back of the tractor.
Okay.
My sister is several feet away from me and rips this huge ear of corn off and throws it at the wagon, and I just happened to be in the way. And my dad swears that I should have actually been interested in sports because he'd never seen a baseball player just reach up and catch the pluck it out of midair. Like, naughty, naughty.
Yes. Why are you looking at me? You're looking at me because I'm laughing so hard.
It would have been more impressive if I hadn't missed the wagon myself when I turned to throw it in the wagon.
And John missed it. I played one we haven't played in a long time.
Which one? Play it again.
Stu. All right.
If there's a wiener on that monitor, I swear to God, Stu.
Of course, you're thinking
like
that is actually the original Star Destroyer from New Hope. So,
yeah.
Chasing Princess Leia's Rebel Blockade Runner, which was possibly one of the coolest movie scenes in my childhood. So,
yes.
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't my childhood, but yeah.
Hey,
I
Dolby
remember
Surround.
sitting in the theater going, "How big is this spacecraft?"
And then the big
In
one
Dolby.
came.
It literally.
The first one is big enough, and then the second one, I'm going, that's a little bit bigger.
And it just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
I don't. We break for nothing. Yeah, it's
Okay, there you go. I've got your belly. You can settle down now. He absolutely adores having my hand under either his chest or his belly.
that's
Don't know
where the
why.
murder switch is.
He likes to have a belly rub.
I had a cat did too. Smyrna was like that. Just loved having the belly rubs, but
Mm-hmm.
every so often, I'd find the murder switch.
No, as far as I've been able to tell, the murder switch is around the face, which is a shame because I positively love to boop his nose. Once in a great while, he likes to have his nose leather rubbed.
I would grab Smyrna by the face, put
Mhm.
2 fingers behind his ears and
Mhm.
and my thumbs on his cheeks, and
Mhm.
do this, and he was like, and you just see him like.
Well,
And it's like this to,
Oh.
and when you quit, it's ah.
No, unfortunately he just had this disappointed look on his face, like, don't stop.
my mouse hand has been imprisoned.
Mm.
It is now under a cat belly, and I can feel the purring.
So, have they given out any word on whether or not they're moving the SLS back to the vehicle assembly building? Or are they going to try and fix it on the pad?
As of this afternoon, Joe may have heard something more recent, but I've been writing. As of the press conference this afternoon, they didn't know yet. But basically they're not going to go next week. There was originally a launch window on Monday, and
Right.
that's pretty much scrap. So,
And according to range, the vehicle cannot sit out there longer than 25 days without replacing the batteries on the flight termination system. The new window is outside of that.
so almost certainly they're going to roll back, but they just haven't made it official yet.
Yeah.
Was that your interpretation, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those that they don't want to.
They don't want to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want to say we have to take it.
Yeah, they don't want to piss off Bob. Bob's the guy that drives the crawler, and he's already told them, I ain't taking it back to the VAB. Okay, you either launch it or you can drag it back there yourself.
And yeah, I was telling Stephanie, they paid almost $1 billion for this launcher, and it's not compatible with Block 1B. They've got to build another launcher.
Oh, hang on a minute. Let me see. What is this?
What?
Oh, his name. I'm sorry. His name is John Giles. He's the crawler overseer.
Ah.
What?
And
What? What just happened? I heard the thunk.
he's
I
joking.
meant to do that. I meant to do that. I'm a cat. I meant to do that. Meow. Meow.
Anyway, Mr. Giles, he tells them, says, I jokingly told them that when we went to the pad and dropped it off this time, I went to my management and said, I'm not bringing it back. It stays here. He says, you got to launch it because I'm not taking it back to the VAB.
Well,
No.
all right,
What happened?
What happened? Yeah.
Okay, the chair over here is a computer chair that swivels.
Oh,
And he put his paws.
Inertia is real.
He put his paws on the arm of the chair, and thought to jump. And about mid spring of the jump, he said, "No, I ain't gonna do it." But the chair had already started spinning away from him, and he was hanging on to the thing. Help! And cats don't always land on their feet.
nope, not always. They have to have enough room to spin.
Yep, there is a minimum height.
And he just, just
Flat.
planted. And now that I'm laughing, he won't even let me.
What part of him hit first?
I think the shoulders.
Oh, poor baby.
What?
But yeah, that's funny. My previous cat, we took her up with us to my mom to the house that I grew up in, and there was a banister railing around the stairwell into the basement, and Anna, oh pretty baby, Anna used a chair that was sitting nearby to hop up onto the banister and walk the railing. So she gets back to the chair and she manages to get her. Now, this is a polished railing. She manages to get herself turned sideways so that she can get down onto the chair. And she reaches down with her front paws and leans over, so that her head is down. Well, to compensate for balance, she flips her tail down as well and then sees her tail through the railing and goes for it. And that was kind of interesting, yes.
If I remember correctly, one of Carl and Donna's cats do that on the third floor rail.
She didn't fall down the stairs. That's that's all I could say. I'm thankful for. But this is also the cat that when she was a kitten, we took her up for Christmas.
Second floor, I stand.
And so me and the family and some visiting relatives and stuff are all sitting there when the fully decorated Christmas tree starts to do the hula. And then all at once, about 2/3 of the way up, point, one of the Christmas ornaments falls off and is immediately replaced by a kitty face ornament.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
We're already starting to get thunderstorms here, so you're next.
And it is time to start wrapping up the show, but Dan took off before the show.
That's probably where he went, though, wasn't it?
No,
he's gone. He's not in his chair.
No, I mean he's probably getting ready for his show, or
That's
hitting,
true.
or going down the hallway before his show.
Yeah.
I believe the proper terminology on television is a commercial break.
Well, yeah, but when we were sitting console for shuttle, we're headed down the hall because it was one damn long hall before you got to the restrooms.
You'd think with an operation like that, they'd have the restrooms like right there behind.
You would think, but no, you're talking about easily 50 yards down. You had to go down the one hall and then turn into the main hall and go another 50 yards.
Now, you know how when they have a disaster, they shut the room. Nobody's allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Lock your terminals or whatever the heck they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, how do you get to the bathroom? You don't?
I have not ever been in that particular situation. But yeah, I would think it would be you don't. which is going to get painful really quick.
Especially if you just lost a rocket. I mean, one of the first things you want to do is go to the bathroom and do a number 2 download.
Well, yeah, or barf.
First you say it, then you do it.
Yep. And it's that time because my watch just went ding.
Yes, it is. It's with 2 hours and 5 seconds. Hit it, Joe. Good night.
All
everybody.
right. Say good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night, everybody.
Say good night, everybody, again, because I can't find.
Good night,
All right,
everybody.
there.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
Come on, Joe. It's the button with the airplane. Come on, hit it.
Yeah.
Slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.